manufactured a shortage of baby formula. That shit was fake. There was no baby shortage formula whatsoever. That was manufactured. The eggs, manufactured. It's a manufactured crisis of a shortage of goods. They blamed the supply chain. Are you fucking kidding me? They weren't letting the boats in on purpose. It was a manufactured inflation and crisis.
Well, their argument was that if they spend this money, that production is going to go up, but it didn't, and that's why we had inflation. Because if production went up, then it would keep up with the inflation, and you wouldn't have just have a better economy.
So the thing
but
is that Biden had a difficult decision to make, same as every world leader. I just want to stress, every country had to deal with inflation, and because if he's not using government money to try to keep the economy running, we're going to have a massive crash with massive unemployment. So he's trying to balance between inflation and recession.
In 2020, we had the dip from the lockdowns, right? And then when we opened back up, the stock market went back up higher than it was previous to COVID, under Trump. This is before Biden got on top of it. Okay?
Right.
And at that time, the inflation rate was 1.4%, which means that recovery was based on production, not inflation, not speculation. It was actual production, and so that's why the inflation rate was low at that time.
Yeah, but
Biden got in.
That, like, every single country had that lag to 2022.
America didn't. America was on a good track when Trump got out of office. We have 1.4% inflation with the market going up, which means there's production happening, growth.
Yeah, but the market was rebounding in every other country. So how do you know it was the?
We didn't have inflation, and then when Biden comes in, okay, we need another $2.3 trillion bill. We need another one point something trillion dollar bill. Now all of a sudden, the production leveled off, but the money in the economy went crazy. So inflation went from 1.4% to 9% in 1 year.
Of inflation, and
just because other countries were doing stupid shit like Biden doesn't mean that we should have been doing stupid shit. That's a bad argument.
Right, but a lot of countries couldn't inject a bunch of cash into their economy, and they also suffered inflation. These are poor countries.
Based off of COVID to solve the COVID issue, which it actually didn't, and it caused inflation.
Okay, I once again, I would say that, like, I would agree that if we had gone the other way and, you know, done no sort of Keynesian policy at all, and just, you know, let it happen, we would have just had a massive recession.
No, we would have been like Sweden. That's what Sweden did. They didn't lock down.
My teeth were free, and all of a sudden they start charging me. And I said, when did that happen? 2021. All the years of Trump, I had all my teeth done because I had a great plan. Now I'm not so crazy about my plan. They're trying to make it a little better. Hopefully we'll get better now under Trump.
So Trump will bring your free dental care back.
Right, from federal government. It's not actually free because I'm paying for it. Okay. I'm paying for the dental plan.
Got it.
I want my dental plan to
I'm just curious, I missed some of the conversation.
Well, if we don't have
to
pay for the healthcare,
said a negative thing that you didn't care for under Joe Biden? Okay. Do you have one or two in particular that you didn't care for?
Normal, better
I
insurance.
mean, I've mentioned a number of them. I mean, well, one of the things on topic was the tariffs. It's funny enough. I mean, Biden kept some of the metal tariffs in place. On, like, when I think that's pretty bad for American manufacturing, because a lot of things that we manufacture in America need metal, and that's getting tariffed. He clearly has a swing state interest that he's trying to curry favor with, but that's one example.
I appreciate that because I live online. Okay, all I do is watch videos, and it's been 8 years. No, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Well, the Patriots.
Yeah, we have to go that way anyways.
No, please go. Continue.
What's
you're like the final boss.
Your party left. Your party left.
Democrat.
I know, but a lot of people were. And their party left.
Classic liberal. It's just kind of a libertarian.
Yeah,
I agree. I've read the Democratic Party platform, and I agree with most of the policies.
Do you feel like the party represents those values and those policies at this point?
Generally, yes, I do.
Who's upholding the Democratic Party principles? Who's left to uphold
Anti-war.
that?
None.
None of the Kennedy Democrat things
I
exist
think it
anymore.
is smart if Russia invades Ukraine and Ukraine is an ally, that we put up some cash to defend Ukraine.
Same argument that Bush made.
Ukraine is a bunch
Yeah.
of
But
Yeah,
also,
that was smart. We
But
should
don't
No,
have
it was
done
not.
that.
No.
so you don't think
no,
that
we should not
that
have.
Ukraine? You don't think that European countries can help Ukraine defend itself against Russia? You think that they
I
need
think they
America?
can.
There's-
They
is-
have
so then
Taking
every
advantage
country
of
in the
America.
world needs America's help, right?
Always
Because
taking
there's
advantage.
Not every
dictatorships
country in the world, but here's the thing: Russia is our geopolitical enemy. They're
No,
invading a country that is a democracy and an ally to the United States.
They're also a money laundering country. It's just a country existing to launder the
there's
Biden's
no-
money.
There's no good guys in that world.
Ukraine.
Look,
Industrial and agriculture exports. So.
Ukraine and Russia are both corrupt. Like, they have their issues with each other. They have nothing to do with us. They have nothing to do with us.
I think it is in America's interest to protect. Republicans used to believe in that. Unfortunately,
using the
What
word
about India and
protect.
Pakistan?
By the
Should
way,
we intervene in what's going on over there with India and Pakistan? Should we? No.
Why not?
So why- but why not?
Nuclear war's about to break out.
Why not? It could be a nuclear war. Like, you don't think we should intervene? Like why do we have to
should go
pick a side
assassinate
in
the
every
president of
fucking war?
Pakistan.
Like,
Assassinate Putin. That'll be a good thing.
there's a couple
Come
of
on.
key things. One, Pakistan is not a huge power quite on the scale of Russia. So there's that, right? So we are a better. Well, they are a nuclear power, but
And more reckless than Russia.
it's true. But Russia has the capacity to keep invading other countries, and which
They don't even, he doesn't even want all of Ukraine. He just wants the four regions that to go.
okay. Oh, he just wants to steal a little of your country.
And he
But it's
wants
not our
to
business.
That's all.
It's not our business.
But those,
Steal a little of the country.
Are we gonna
that
get
was
it?
his. Dude, that was Russia just a few years ago. Like, it's a lot of people that live there are Russian.
Zelensky's keeping the money for himself, and the Democrats are putting it in
speak
their
Russian.
pocket.
Real
The money is
America
not
first
being
people
helped.
believe we don't want to be involved in Israel or Ukraine. Neither.
So when I was
Another story. They're not helping Ukraine.
I mean-
that money is going into their pockets of the
Yeah, oh yeah,
politicians
that's another thing.
and
It's not helping
Zelensky.
anybody.
right, so when I was
It's
on the left,
just a
when
scam.
I was
It's just a scam.
when I was an anarchist,
They're still
anti-capitalist Democrat on the left, I thought the Democratic Party was all about giving money to broke-ass people struggling on the street, like real homeless people, activists and everything. I never got a dime then. We're not getting a dime now. Let's just say to the billions we've sent to Ukraine, what if they just gave $100 million and they said, homeless people, line up and we're going to give you a check? Has that ever fucking happened from the Democrats? Why not? If that's what they're
We can
about.
feed every homeless person in this country.
in California on homelessness, and it got worse.
Right, dude, that's a Democrat state. Dude, that
Right.
made
Well,
a
I
homeless
think California,
population
the
worse.
homeless population has to do with the housing crisis, which is caused by local
are Ukrainians-
regulations.
are
Illegal
Ukrainians more
immigration and
important?
high taxes and high regulation.
I would not blame the illegal immigration. I would say we just need to allow more houses to be
Too
built.
many people, not enough houses, and it's too expensive to build them.
Right. I agree. We need to fix that. I mean, I have.
High taxes, high regulations. That's why it's expensive to build houses.
The thing is, a lot of Democrats would agree with you on that. This is a point of internal debate within the Democratic Party. On what?
That they suck
So we
at
can afford housing.
No, I was talking about building more housing. Look, lower taxes is not going to do anywhere near as much to hit this problem as literally just
Lower the cost of the
upzoning.
building material too. Like, that's the point.
You have
Oh,
to
by
create, this is what I'm
tariffing it?
this is what I'm talking about.
No, Trump.
This is what I'm talking about with incentives instead of
it's
force.
by
So his
buying
idea is
from the
always
from the
use
competition
force,
instead of buying
force
from the
them
big
to make more
corporations.
housing. I'm like,
No,
no,
that's not true. That's
create
not what I
the
said. I'm saying
incentive.
upzone parts of the city so that we can build more housing.
Permits take forever and they cost way too much money.
I agree. But
Okay,
here's the
that's
thing.
a regulation.
Like, there
But
are
even that's not
Democrats
gonna solve
trying
the
to
homeless
address
problem.
this.
It's a drug
So,
problem.
Gavin,
regulations.
yes.
Open up the market.
Gavin Newsom has worked with the Department of Housing and Community Development to open up, actually 2 years ago, a special case against San Francisco to make sure that they are not putting all these fake bureaucratical steps in the way of developers after they've gotten the approvals to lengthen the approval process. Democrats understand that the housing crisis is caused by local regulation.
When did Gavin do this?
What this is like been a process that's over the last like year and a half roughly. So the
Why?
Because somebody wants to run for president.
You know what? I actually, you know what?
Right.
I think.
Well, he does things to curry favor with the voters. Yeah, that's how democracy
And you
works.
know what?
No, that's no.
I'll
That
wait.
is how shitty politicians work. It's a politician issue. I ran for president. I did not run as a politician because fuck that entire concept. The problem is Democrats love being politicians. They love it. They love to put on
Yeah,
the suit.
I want a
They-
politician back in the office. In the White
No,
House.
dude, businessman that everyone
So much
loves.
worse.
I don't even want him. I want someone who's a normal.
Yeah, you guys should get
Average guy.
Jon Stewart or Bill Maher or somebody like that to run for president.
I
Like
would
those guys
no.
have their heads screwed on right.
Oh
like,
my!
you know,
I would
they're
not
not
vote
robots.
for
They're
Jon
not.
Stewart.
They're
That's the
human
thing.
beings.
The
They're not
Democrats
robots.
were the party of the people, right? Working class, blue collar people. Then how come they don't support blue class, working collar candidates?
I mean, I think that
Look at the
you look at
net
the
worth.
policies.
No, look at the net worth of Pelosi, AOC, Maxine Waters. You make millions of dollars if you are a Democrat politician.
Right. So
How is
Pelosi's insider trading is not good. I am not going to
Plus
support that.
Biden,
Republicans
plus
do it too.
all of
It's
them.
not good.
Well, of course, that's why we're MAGA. That's why we're America First.
Yeah,
That's why
we don't like that.
we've transcended the two-party system.
don't
Right.
like
So
Bush.
what has Trump done to address the insider trading in the enforcement of the Stock Act?
We'll have to see Pelosi get arrested. That would be. That's what you're talking about.
But also,
And
let me.
Paul Ryan
Here's the
and
thing.
Republicans
For
who do it too.
the general answer to any question you have about what is Trump doing about this, I can answer it blanket without even knowing the specifics. The answer is he has catalyzed a movement of Americans which we need first and foremost before any policy change. We were a disparate, chronically isolated, chronically sick, chronically lonely society. We have a societal, cultural issue. The moral fabric of what it means to be American has been totally trampled on. So what he did first, foremost, and always, even after his death, what he catalyzed, the solidarity and the coming together of every race, color, creed, religion, spirituality, nationality in the entire world. Trump has voters and he has supporters around the entire world. Japan, I have videos and photos of the whole world.
I'm sure that there are people in Japan who think Trump's great.
Why? But it's not
He has a
because
huge
it's not because
following in
of the
China
policy.
too, which is even more.
Joe Biden's great.
But it's not
Did
because of
anybody think
policy.
Joe Biden was great?
Old leader has lots of
But see,
cultural
brother,
enthusiasm.
Our current leader is Thomas Jefferson.
brother, this is
For Joe Biden,
is why
he's so
we've spent
stupid, doesn't even know how to get off
This
an
is why
airplane
we spend
correctly.
time with you, because I know that this is what's really sitting behind, right? Like we can have common ground on these issues all day long, but at the end of the day, brother, if you really think you've been talking to cult members, okay, you really think that's the core of what it is, you're missing the entire boat.
I think it is, and here's why. So first, I mean, like, Republicans were generally against tariffs. They were for free trade. This was one great point of overlap I had. And then Trump is like, actually, tariffs are great. Immediately, opinion change. Same thing. Case in point. Second thing. What?
Vote blue no matter who.
That's not true. There have been Republicans that have been for tariffs.
I've never said vote blue no matter who.
But listen,
all
you
over
were at a
Twitter,
walkway
Democrat
event,
Twitter.
right?
And also, tariffs is not a Republican or
let
Democrat
me ask
thing.
you,
It's more
why
like a capitalist.
does the left hate Brandon so much? Why do they hate him?
Brandon Straka.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's really where the
generally
debate is
because
now. It's no longer.
because I mean,
It's no longer socialism versus
Why?
capitalism.
Listen,
right?
watch-
I'll tell you about
watch
tariffs.
Why do they hate Brandon?
well, because he's going around the country saying very provocative things. Like, for instance, at Irvine, they had their little setup. They had "Do Black Lives Matter." That's really mean.
Okay, they hated him
Why-
before that event. Why do they so with their soul hate
they,
Brandon?
they for similar reasons because of the thing. Look,
Yeah, it's
he's
because
on the other side.
he left the cult. He left the cult. He's gay and he's not a Democrat anymore. He's not a Democrat, and he's caused millions and millions and millions of registered Democrat voters to leave the Democrat Party. That's why he's hated. Is that not cult-like behavior?
I think that they don't like what he's saying and they're objecting to it. I don't think it's cult like.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, the thing is, we're
There's
not
a
cult because we
vitriol.
disagree with him on a lot of things. We don't like the
tell you about
vaccine
tariffs.
thing. That was his bad. He
Right.
did that.
But the cult aspect is there. I'm not saying that every person who voted for Trump is a cult member, but I'm saying there's cult-like behavior. Second thing,
I've been in-
Zelensky.
There is everywhere.
I've-
That's for sure.
yeah, I've been
There is
in-
on the
I've
left.
been in
There's a lot of
three-
cult
Kamala,
behavior
they
on the
were,
left.
I've been
You
in
guys
three.
Cult behavior
love
on the
Bernie
left.
so much.
Yeah.
Like, you're like
Yeah, that's
so
little
much.
cult,
Like a
that's
little
true.
too much.
I'll give that. Yeah. I'll concede
I
that.
can't even get
That's why I'm going to tell you about
the
tariffs.
far
that work.
leftist. I can't
Do we
get them
want
to admit
fair
that
tariffs? There have always been
Karl Marx
tariffs,
was a racist.
but say like we over
I
had
would
there.
say
They're going to
for
give out.
communists,
Yeah, or
Karl
Marx.
Marx
They're
is
going to
there,
charge
of
us
course.
30%
Che Guevara
over
is
there,
one
or
of their
50% over there.
Yeah, Che
And-
Guevara
but-
is a cult leader for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
only charge-
I would
but
agree.
we-
I've never.
Well,
I've
but we
never,
only charge
Well, there's a lot of Democrats would
with Che
But
Guevara.
would
America
kick you
only
out of the
charges
basically their
5%, but the same place
Right.
that does is 30%.
I mean, I have worked with Democratic campaign people many times, and some of them are self-avowed communists. But when I say that I think that we shouldn't abolish the police, they actually don't kick me out. That's actually okay.
I think there are some cult followers, like even in the Trump movement, there's cult followers everywhere.
But look at the polling on approval of Ukraine among Republicans, right? Meeting with Zelensky crashes.
try to do it
Why?
in a confrontational way where you not. Oh yeah, I agree with you guys here and there, but maybe we shouldn't defend the police. But like, no, let's take a stand on it.
Yeah,
Say,
take a stand. Watch what happens.
No, police are good. You know, some of them are bad, but for the majority, they're good. Stop saying ACAB. They would be like, well, hold on.
I disagree. I have long had the stance in terms of transit advocacy that we need better law enforcement on LA Metro. LA
There's
Metro.
a disconnect there, right?
No, there's not.
In the
Because
party. How can you have ACAB and then have people that are pro-government?
Oh, sorry, but within the party, yes. Okay, yes, there are some ACAB people. I'll admit it. But the fact is, when you look at the direction the Democratic Party has gone since people went maybe a little crazy in like 2020,
A little crazy.
yes, indeed.
Murdering.
It's become more like the Republican Party was under Bush, I feel like. It's become
Oh yeah.
more corporate. It's
Established.
become more corporate because now the Democrats love big pharma. They love the military-industrial complex. They pretty much dominate
Well,
the
the thing is,
media.
when you frame it like that, they'll say, "Well, no, we don't love that." But then it's like, but you enrich them. Your policies.
Yeah, and I'm not
just
saying you. I'm
doubled
not
their
saying you.
fucking
You're not one of
money.
them, dude. You don't even realize it. You're not with your party on this.
Oh, I am. Look,
You don't believe in vaccine mandates.
if you look at, I mean, what vaccine mandates in what capacity? I mean, by employers?
The capacity of what happened to tens of millions of your fellow countrymen and women,
Any
nurses,
vaccine man.
teachers, cops,
You need
firefighters,
a vaccine paperwork to show.
or you don't have a
travel
job
freely.
anymore.
Yeah, so I mean,
Airlines or restaurant or like your entire life gets shut down.
well, we have had vaccine mandates for a very long time. I mean, colleges are a great example.
Yeah, for school. That's it.
For meningococcal, the meningitis, like,
But like, yeah,
right.
It was never mandated for anything else.
yeah, to travel to
Still institutional mandates. Now travel, okay, some other countries, they're like, to get through the border, you have to have vaccine mandate. With Canada, yeah.
In principle, but that's
Okay.
something that's debatable because it's not extreme. A widely writ, rot really, because they have wreaked havoc. But this mandate on the whole people, government on a blanket level, that's tyranny. It's pure tyranny.
Right. Did the government ever blanket mandate that all the citizens had to get vaccines?
Yeah, to enter a lot of places, you had to be vaccinated.
Right. So that
Not
these
just
are
to be out in public, because that would have been crazy. They couldn't just round people up,
Right.
like they did in some countries that don't have a constitution. But they went as far as they could, which was